digital transformation for the front-end consumer retail experience. Ladies and gentlemen, with us on stage in a few moments, the Managing Director, Digital Transform Private Limited. Please welcome Mr. Anurag Sehgal.
Okay. So I'm going to speak more on the retail side. And fortunately, unfortunately, we have to drive a lot of ROI. Most of our clients on the retail side ask us for much more ROI. And so you've seen a lot of good results, final solutions that have come up in the previous presenter. My job is to tell you the blueprint. It's a more theoretical presentation, so I hope you enjoy this. So a little bit about us, our company, what we do. We operate on the overlap between a customer, it could be any stakeholder, tech and business. And that's why, because of the business aspect, we have to work on scalable solutions that drive business growth. In terms of the stakeholders that we are operating for on the retail side, we work on the full dice. That is the dealer, the influencer, the consumer, and the employee. So the dealer experience, influencer experience, consumer experience, and employee experience. As a company, we work on the twin tech funnel. There is the consumer funnel, which is the front-end sales and marketing funnel, and the fulfillment funnel. So they both have to evolve together on the digital tech in order for that solution to become feasible. And these are the verticals on which we operate. So we have the end-to-end consumer and influencer funnel. We do a lot of experiential retail. We have the consumer app and the consumer web, consumer tech products and experience centers. And more or less we see now everything is merging. So we see retail is becoming more experience oriented, online experience, home experience, they're all merging together. So there are the 5 Ds that we have to work with. There is the discovery, which is UX research. There is definition, which is the business transformation strategy. There is design, which is the interaction design, the stakeholder journey, the user experience, the graphical UI, the tangible UI, the hardware. There is the development, which is the translation of design into executables, and the deployment, which is also equally important, which is the adoption, deployment in market, maintenance, servicing. So these are some of the many clients that we have worked with in the past. There are many more. And with most of them, we worked on digital transformation. So I'll talk a little about retail tech transformation, what it implies. So it's not technology. A lot of people confuse retail tech as commodities which they can buy and they can place inside a retail store and they'll get results. They will never get result out of implementing tech. It's not AR, VR, touchscreens, AI apps. It's none of that. If you see Uber, they're running with their map tech since day one. Until today, their map tech is the most important tech for them. So it's not about a new consumer-facing gimmick that Uber had to do in order to make Uber valid. They've stayed valid with their basic tech since day one. It's actually digital solutions for human problems. That is what we have to solve for. So first, it's people-centered. You have to solve for their problems, and it has to be via a scalable system. That is what will bring transformation. That will bring replication, scalability. So instead of focusing on the product or brand-centric issues of retail, you have to see the consumer-centric issues. So instead of saying, how do I present my brand or product better, your language has to be, what does the customer want to see and learn about my product or my brand? And just this little tweak in thinking makes you present yourself differently. So instead of saying, how do I fit maximum products in store, it's about how many products does the customer actually want to see or engage with. Instead of saying, how do I make an attractive facade or window, it's about how do I attract a passerby to enter my store? What discount should I offer? So when and why does a customer want a financial incentive? It doesn't have to be upfront, right? And how do I engage a customer better? Instead you say, how does the customer want to be engaging with me? So this is the flip. Now instead of seeing technology, retail tech as a commodity, you have to see it as a medium. It's a medium like clay or like wood. You have to first imagine the solution and then craft your solutions to satisfy those problems. So instead of eating from ready-made pots, you actually craft the utensils because the problem solving you're doing is eating food. So you don't have to buy ready-made pots and then pour food in that and eat it, right? So you craft a solution. So a little bit about the context. Instead of seeing retail as product presentations, you have to see it more along customer expectations. It's about leveraging behavioral science to optimize the growth strategy for retail. And this is a very good example. This is one of our largest case study we did since 2010. So earlier, Asian Paints was product centric, and then they transformed into customer expectation centricity. So it became completely about what does the customer want to see. They don't want to know about paint. They want to know about finishes, wall decor. So just this small change in language from paint to wall decor completely transformed the company, even the thinking of the people internally within the company. So retail you have to see on the modern retail, not the legacy retail. Modern retail you have to see on two pyramids. Retail is no longer about what happens in store. It's pre-retail, retail and post-retail. And retail on itself is in-store, online and at home. So we have to cover this whole spectrum when we're now talking about modern retail, because now we have technology which allows us that seamlessness and continuity. So we have to solve for this whole spectrum now. So omnichannel, a lot of people heard a lot about omnichannel, but mostly what we get to see is multi-channel. We have brands which are doing e-commerce and then they're doing in-store. But omnichannel, the definition of omnichannel is when you solve for the experience of a consumer across the various channels, but you optimize the solutions across channels and you bring continuity in those solutions. So if I'm doing a solution for my in-store, can that solution coexist online and at home? If it can, then you leverage that and then you start making your omni-channel where the continuity of the consumer happens. So if you see a store journey is like a miniature retail journey. You have all the attract, inspire, engage, inform, consult, everything which is happening across the full retail journey online or at home or outdoor. You have a miniature version of that which is running in store. And it's continuous. So you have, whenever a customer is departing the online journey and entering a store, that journey within the store continues, and vice versa. When he leaves the store, there's a continuity of journey online. And there's a new set of stakeholders that are being solved for now in retail. There are a lot of influencer-centric brands who are not D2C, direct to consumer. There are a lot of influencers at play, especially the building material industry. They're fully influencer-centric. So now retail is solving for the shop owner, the counter sales executive. He's now a very key stakeholder in the equation. We have the influencers who are driving the sales at the end consumer and the end consumer. So now retail is solving for all these stakeholders. So one example is, for example, Broadway. It's a supermarket, a department store which has come up recently where they're bringing in D2C brands. They're talking about engaging influencers, consumers, content creators. So there's a lot of more stakeholders who are being pulled into the retail cycle. And for example, one Pidilite, they've come up with a new store that we did for them. And it's not actually targeting the homeowner. They're targeting AIDs, the architects and the interior designers, just as much as they're targeting the homeowner. So now you're leveraging the retail experience across multiple stakeholders to improve the ROI. So if I have to spell out a blueprint of how to actually drive a retail tech transformation for a brand, you always start from the consumer experience discovery, the research of the customer problems. This is the non-negotiable. You cannot escape this. It's no longer about how do I put my product and when a customer comes in store, how do I engage him there? It's about what the customer actually wants to do and what kind of a retail format should I set up to deliver that. You actually go reverse. You pivot around the customer need. CX definition, which is the problems categorized as experience segments. So what you do is you capture all those problems and now a customer is engaging with a brand through experience segments. You're going to attract him, inspire him to uplift his choice, engage with him, consult him, inform him about your products, help him shortlist, finalize, transact, deliver. You do a follow-up, there's a revisit, then you try to retain him. So there are these experience segments and problems are categorized in that. And then you come to the design of that. which is along the multiple channels, along the experience segments, you solve for those problems using technology features. Those tech features which are solving for those problems along those multiple channels and experience segments, they get delivered via digital products and a tech stack. And that brings you your retail tech transformation footprint. So on the solutions for those features, you have experiential solutions, which are about engaging your consumer, making him spend more time. And then you have utilitarian solutions, which is data or save time experiences, bringing efficiency into the retail experience, helping the consumer find a product faster. So the experiential solutions are like signages, consultation kiosks, AR trials, mood lights. And the utilitarian solutions are like the point of sales, the IRM, the CRM, the smart labels, the IoTs, right? And in DDX, this digital product and tech stack is what will be laid out in front. And that's why in DDX, you will see CX labels. They're beginning to spell out what kind of solutions are good for which segment of the retail experience. This labeling is what helps you understand the blueprint. So to give you a little bit about the case studies that we have executed across industries following this science of digital transformation, the biggest has been Asian Paints, the signature store that we built in 2010. It had the attract. We inspired people to uplift their choice, because prior to 2010, a lot of people were not color confident. They were white. They always wanted to paint their house white. So to give them the color confidence, you had to inspire them. And the role of a good brand is to actually inspire its consumer and uplift them in that segment. Then we would engage people. Now in engagement, we use something called an NUI, a natural user interface. We do not want people to go into a store and interact with complicated tech. So we tap into the natural gestures of a human being and put sensors and actuators in them to tap into their natural user interface. So something like the flip book. A person would flip a book and learn about that shade applied on a wall. So the action of flipping a book itself is a natural user interface. Then we had information, consultation, the shortlisting, finalizing and delivering. Then Asian Paints, it was successful. We saw a 30% uptick in sales within the Delhi region when we did the signature store. And since then, we've rolled out about 800 tier 1 outlets, scaled down version of the digital experience, 2000 tier 3 outlets, which is a further scaled down version of the signature experience. But the signature experience was established in the signature outlet. Pidilite is another example we recently did. It has the attract, orient, engage, inform, the consult, shortlist, finalize, deliver, and the retain. I'll just share a video of this. We've also, on the utilitarian side, we worked on something called an IRM. It's an influencer relationship management platform. So this is the gap we saw in the industry. There are customer relationship management platforms, lead management systems, and the influencer-centric industry was trying to repurpose all those customer systems for themselves. So after noticing this gap, we built an influencer relationship management platform through which Indigo is now engaging shop managers and shop boys to help influence the sale last mile offline. And so far, they've onboarded about 1,000 shop managers onto this platform through which they're engaging the shop boys. Then we've also worked with JBLs and Sony for audio experience last mile to help people shortlist and finalize. So the reason why I'm giving these examples is to show that it's not limited to specific industries. It's across industries. Every industry follows similar problems that customers face, and you can solve for all of them using the science of transformation. Then Van Heusen we worked with. I would say this was not a successful project. The ROI did not come, so it didn't proceed to rollouts. But we did set up the whole attract, personalize, engage, inform, shortlist, consult, and deliver. I'll share a video of this as well. So the reason why this project did not roll out, scale up was the business backend was not there. We did the front end. The business backend to feed content of 50,000 SKUs into this system was not there. So that's where we understood that if we do not work on the fulfillment funnel and the consumer funnel, if they don't simultaneously develop, then the consumer funnel will never sustain. Nitco Tiles is another project that we did. Over here, the tile industry is going through a scenario where they offer about 5,000 SKUs online. And when you go into their largest store, which is 5,000 square feet, they have about 350 SKUs there. So the promise of 5,000 SKUs translates to 350 SKUs in their largest store, and tiles is bought after touch and feel. And after that, the dealer tells you that he only has 190 SKUs in his godown to fulfill. He'll not even fulfill the 350 SKUs. So the difference between the promise and the fulfillment is so massive. So we had worked on this problem. We built the whole journey on engaging. So the idea over here was to bring 550 tiles in 750 square feet of space so we can get the stores closer to residential areas and women could come. Because in hardware markets, women don't feel comfortable going. So, and women is a very important decision maker in the aesthetics of the house. So a lot of insights were captured, journeys were made, and then we came up with this solution. We've also done for the food industry, for Alexir in Italy. We did a plan for a food type which improves health of body. So we worked on the attract, inspire to make people understand what kind of lifestyle they can live if they eat that food. Help them engage, personalize. They filled a questionnaire where their body type was scanned. They were given a body type, and then a chef would consult them on what kind of food they can have to improve their health on that body type. Then they were given a final recipe and they could leave after buying that food from the restaurant. We've also on the utilitarian side worked on passive security pods, adding IoT to passive security pods. So this brand could track which consumers are interested in which device last mile in store and which region, which device is more popular. So then they can run localized promotions within those spaces. And we also did kind of a heat map and footfall for Vivo, where we understood again which stores, which device is more popular. Plus, we also understood the layouting of the store. So they had sofas where customers could come and set up their device, but no one was ever using those sofas. So 30% of their retail footprint was getting wasted in sofas where nobody would come because customers would prefer on the cash counter to set up the device with the staff. So these kind of interventions help us deliver these kind of solutions to our clients.